You know it's me. That means you know it's Saturday or some other day, but mostly Saturday. That's right. It's Saturday Fantasy Baseball, and we wait for the chat room to flow in and get started before we get going on the tidbits, the nuggets, and the fantasy baseball goodness that you find here 7 days a week at 9 a.m. Eastern. Lenny Melnick, fantasysports.com/live. You could come join the chat room. That's where we have our friends, our fantasy baseball insiders, and the best conversation to be had. If you want to escape the crazy world that we live in, you could come and talk just baseball. That's right. I know if you find me other places, I'm not talking just baseball, but I do here, and that's what we come together for every single day of the week. We give you an hour of the break from the rest of the crazy things going on, and we just do the escape, and it's great for everybody involved. I see the chat room is filling up, but we're just waiting for the sound to come through, and then we'll go ahead and get started. And, of course, my biggest fan is here, sitting right next to me, Lenny, always here with me, or am I always here with him? It's one of the two. There's not a minute that goes by that we're not sitting here together, talking baseball, talking whatever is going on. But yes, like I said, today is Saturday, and that's why we do Saturday Fantasy Baseball. So let me just have a sip of my coffee since I've run out of promo to talk about. We're just waiting for the sound to come through the chat room. Boy, oh boy, there it is. See you later. Sound is great. Welcome aboard, Captain Danny. Great to see you. Great to see Chris from Cambridge, Gallo, Debbie, Chris and Debbie Gallo, Data Premier, Danny and Penny are here, Lenny, Rotorius, SM King, Turd Jr., Tommy Johnson, Boston Paul, Guest Christy, Guest Seth, and a cast of thousands. We're just waiting for the chat room to fill up. But in the meantime, let's say happy birthday to the original Randy Johnson, right? The original Randy Johnson. He's 64 today, and the reason his name is Mike Witt, W-I-T-T, 64 years old today. That's because he was 6'7". 6'7". Used to be like 1 in a million would be that tall, but I think I'm starting to see it more often, right? And then Turd is here, and Gallo, the Gallo clan is here. So just refresh if you don't get sound. I'm telling you that like you could hear me, so it's really pointless, but hope you're feeling better, Tommy Johnson, and great to see all of you. Welcome aboard. It's 9 o'clock, and we will get this party started. So let's start off with the fact that the trade deadline is July 30th. That's the next best thing we have to look forward to in baseball, the trade deadline. Coming up quickly, by the way, July 30th, and today is the 20th, so we're talking 10 days away at 6 p.m. Eastern, and we're going to hear all kinds of hot stove between now and then, and it should be a hunky-dory time for all. Fun had by all. And Eddie, he's on an Alaskan cruise right now, but we are going to talk about the Orioles regardless. Apparently, they have the edge in prospect capital over the Yankees and pretty much everybody, really, and pretty much everybody in the baseball world. So the O's are not just pursuing starting pitchers, but they're pursuing relievers too, and that includes your boy Mason Miller. So wouldn't that be something if the Orioles went ahead and made the trade for Mason Miller? All right. Good morning. Good morning to Leonard Donaldson. Good morning to Owens. Great to see you, Owens. Hope I didn't skip over your name. I saw you here earlier, so I didn't mean to skip over you if I did. And anybody else that's new? Well, Lenny will keep an eye on that for me, and you know we will. SM King Turd says the Orioles need to get Skubal. They need to do it. And, you know, I was hearing on the radio some talk about that and what would have to be given up to get Skubal. And would the Detroit Tigers even be that smart by selling him right now? I guess anybody's for, I shouldn't say, it sounds horrible to say anybody's for sale, right? Any player is up for grabs at the right price. All right, that sounds a little better than everybody's for sale, right? If you know what I mean. All right, where's King Hap today? He's the one that always laughs at my jokes. King Hap, if you're out there, I hope your ears are ringing. I will see you in the chat room soon. That usually gets him over here. And then Laura, too. It seems like once I start talking about Laura, she comes to the chat room. So, Laura, wake up, Laura. All right, say hello to Boston Paul. Yes, he's here. Why is he in mourning today? You should tell me, because I know you guys like to tease each other so much. Lenny brings up Tarek Skubal for Henderson. There's no way in heck I would ever, if I were the Orioles, I wouldn't even consider giving up Gunnar Henderson for Skubal. I don't know if that was a joke or not, Leonard.
Nope.
He says that's not a joke, but Stardog is welcome home. Welcome home to Stardog, our Kansas City Royals guy. Welcome to you. And Chris from Cambridge says that he doesn't want to see anybody, he doesn't want to see the Tigers send anybody out. He thinks they should stay the course and then add players in free agency.
It's King Hap.
King Hap, this is too good. Okay, where's Laura? She should be right behind. King Hap, your ears must have been ringing, dude. And I was just saying, where's King Hap? And here's the thing. Whenever I start talking about King Hap, his ears start ringing just like Laura. She should be here any minute because both of you must feel the vibes. And if the communications ever go down, I'll be communicating with you and Laura, King Hap, okay? So there you go. It would have to be an overwhelming deal to get Skubal. Turd mentions that not many teams can even make the offer. All right, so here we go. Now I feel like we're whole, except we're just missing one piece, which is Laura, but she should be. And Mitchell, great to see you too, okay? Good to see you. Let's get going. So like I said, the Orioles have the edge over the Yankees and pretty much every other team when it comes to prospect capital. And I'm not just talking about guys like Jackson Holiday, Gunnar Henderson. He's not a prospect anymore, obviously, but they have some other ones like Heston, Kierstad, and some other ones. Kowser is there too. They have a lot. But
Laura just showed up.
There you go, Laura. There you go. I swear this is too good. Okay? It's too good because that's how it works. If I start talking to King Hap and Laura, they show up. Right, Laura? Love to have you. Say hello to our friend Mary. Okay, JD Martinez. Let's just in time to talk about the Mets, my friends. Okay, JD Martinez is not having a great time right now. In his last 15 games, he's batting 157 with a 567 OPS, 1 home run, and 5 RBIs. Now, he wasn't in the starting lineup on Sunday against Colorado, and he basically, that was the final game before the All-Star break, and Pete Alonso, who is another guy we'll talk about who's not been doing great either. But going back to JD Martinez, he was benched on Sunday after he went hitless and struck out 5 times in 8 at-bats over the first 2 games of the series. And he's batting 194 with a home run, 4 RBIs, and 37.2% strikeout rate in 11 July games. So Martinez not having a good time right now, but I'll tell you this. Whenever I see something like this, I think to myself, let me go have a look at the depth chart and find out, can they even bench this guy? Do they have somebody to play where he's playing, which is the designated hitter, right? The next guy on the list is DJ Stewart, okay? And then all the rest of the guys on the list basically have jobs at other places, such as Mark Vientos, Pete Alonso, Lindor, Brandon Nimmo, Francisco Alvarez. All these guys, they already play every day. So if it's not JD Martinez, the chances are good it's DJ Stewart. And I don't know about you, but I'm pretty sure that JD Martinez, no matter how bad he gets, he's still going to get the majority of the playing time. Now, I wish the Hulkster Daniel was here, but I know he's probably sleeping in on the weekends. But this is for you to the Hulkster, from one Hulkster to the other. The teams since World War II to lose 72 or more of their first 99 games, okay? The 1962 Mets, the 1979 A's, the 2003 Tigers, and of course you remember the 2023 A's and the 2024 Chicago White Sox. And yes, it is a sad day for White Sox fans. Chris from Cambridge said it at the beginning of the year. Every star veteran has their last season in the sun. It was buyer beware from the start with J.D. Martinez. Of course, but it was buyer beware last year when the Dodgers signed him and he hit a bunch of home runs. So that's it. I don't know if you're talking buyer beware like fantasy manager or if you're talking buyer beware the Mets. Doesn't really matter. But somebody go wake up the Hulkamaniac, okay? Get him on in here. All right, Houston leading the American League West now with 51 wins. And even though Seattle has 52 wins, their win percentage is not as good. So basically, the Seattle Mariners and the Astros are neck and neck, which says something because the Mariners have been at the top all season long. In the last 10 games, the Astros have won 6-4, and the Seattle Mariners have won 4-6. So yes, it's one game. It's going to go back and forth, and I hope Seattle can hang on tight. But you know those Astros, Danny, they're pesky, like your Dodgers. Who's A.S. Butler? I don't know if you're spelling people right. I don't know who A.S. Butler is. So you need to spell it right, and then I could talk about him.
Athletics.
Luis Severino is in a group chat. This is fun. This is a good one. You know he's a Met now, but he used to be a Yankee, just to give you some context. But he still has a group chat, right, with some members of the Yankees. So he's still friends with these guys, and and these guys in the Yankees group chat, they said that Severino is afraid of them because he didn't start in the first Subway Series at Citi Field. And Severino's response, this is a good one. I'm not afraid of you guys. Right now, you only have 2 good hitters. Drop the mic for Luis Severino on that one, okay? How could I be afraid of you when you only have 2 good hitters? Good one. Butler of Oakland. What's his name? He was slow. Okay, Owen says, nice move to Boston Paul for picking up Butler of Oakland. He says that he was slow and he missed out on Butler, and he does look like he's for real. SM King Turd says that the Mets could change their franchise for the better by selling. He would be cheering for that as a fan. And that would set him up for stealing Juan Soto in the offseason. Steal another one of those Yankees guys, right? That's always fun. Lawrence Butler of Oakland. That's who it is. That's who the chat room is talking about. Shows you how much I've been paying attention to picking up guys for my fantasy teams. I have to admit, I'm not great at maintaining my teams, and I really need to just play in Gladiators and Best Ball next year, and that's what I'm going to do. I love drafting. I love talking to you guys about fantasy, but I really hate trying to manage my team throughout the season, especially when you have like 8 or 9 teams, all with different league rules and all kinds of stuff. It's just too much for me. Maybe I'm just lazy. I don't know. Whatever it is, I'm not going to make excuses because I don't care. I'm just going to do Gladiators and Best Balls. That's what I'll do. And here's Mitchell Hartson talking about Butler of Oakland. Who did you say, Leonard?
Malpal and is here. Malpal's here.
Malpal and Tina are here.
Rotorius.
And Rotorius. We talked to Rotorius already and said hello. All right, so we love Severino, what he's doing with a 3.78 ERA, 81 strikeouts, a 119 whip, and a 6-3 record. Good morning to White Sox Al. Yes, pesky could be the word of the day, right, Danny? Because pesky sounds about right. Just like those Houston Astros, you have the definite pesky Dodgers. Bo Bichette left last night's game with a leg injury. He appeared to tweak his leg right out of the box. Now after that note, the official diagnosis has come down, and that is a strained right calf, which is the same injury that caused him to miss the last 4 games before the All-Star break. The Blue Jays didn't place Bichette on the injured list after his initial strain, but there's a good chance he spends some time on the injured list this time around in order to properly address the issue. So you have Leo Jimenez will take over as Toronto's starting shortstop. This guy is 23 years old at the minor league at AAA this season. AAA Buffalo in 57 games and 181 at-bats. Leo Jimenez had 7 home runs, 3 stolen bases, and since receiving his first big league call-up July 2nd, he's gone 7 for 19 with a double, 2 walks, 3 runs, and an RBI. Now, as you might have already known, he already got the call-up because Bo Bichette did take a couple days off. He didn't go on the injured list before the All-Star break. I think they were hoping that he could work through the injury, let it rest, and then come back. Well, Leo Jimenez will continue to take over for Bo Bichette at the time being. All right? I'm not going to read that out loud, King Turd. All right? Boston Paul says making moves and pickups is what the fun is. How boring. Draft team and forget. Plus keeps you awake and knowing ball players like Butler for podcasts. Oh, forgive me. Maybe you should do a podcast. You know everybody. You should do a podcast, Boston Paul. Just teasing you, dude. All right, I know who Jacob Wilson is. He was visibly frustrated as he had to exit the game with an injury following a hit in his first MLB at-bat. And why can't you just respect how other people play the game? That's how you actually win, Boston Paul, is because of people like me, okay? Because if everybody paid attention to their teams the way you do, I doubt you'd win so much. That's my drop the mic, okay? I like to pick on Boston Paul, but he's a good friend, and we appreciate him in this chat room and being part of this crew. We do consider Boston Paul a good friend, as we do consider all of you here a good friend, and we appreciate all of you for spending your time with us every morning at 9 a.m. Yeah, okay. The next thing I'm going to get from Boston Paul is a whatever. All right. So, Jacob Wilson left the game with an injury following a hit in his first MLB at-bat. He hit .401 in 72 career at-bats in the minor leagues. Now, he exited yesterday's game in the 4th inning due to a left hamstring strain. He suffered the injury while rounding third base in the 3rd inning, and he was pulled after testing out his hamstring in the field ahead of the 4th inning. It's possible that the injury causes him to land on the injured list, but we do not know, and it would be immediately after making his MLB debut, which would put Max Schumann back into the starting shortstop role. So we'll keep an eye out for Jacob Wilson, who left the game, and it would be too bad if he has to hit the injured list right after. All right? Tommy Johnson loves the Pittsburgh Pirates, and he is always positive. So, of course, the going comment from Tommy Johnson is, great win by the Pirates. Okay. You always hit a nerve, Boston Paul, and I'm always ready for it. Pete Alonso in his last 15 games. I told you, Pete Alonso not having a great time right now. Plus, he took a crap in the home run derby again. All right? Let's go, Pete Alonso. Polar bear. Triple play, welcome aboard. Welcome to the fun, okay? Now, in his last 15 games, Pete Alonso, .203 batting average, .564 OPS, 2 home runs, and 5 RBIs. Should the Mets consider moving him out of the cleanup spot? You want to know what I say? Hell no. He needs to stay where he is. He'll get it together. Leave him alone. What do you think, Laura? What do you think, Rotorius? What do you think, Mets fans everywhere? And Chris from Cambridge brings up the point that Jacob Wilson is the son of Pirates sensation Jack Wilson. That's right. Clayton Kershaw yesterday at OKC. That's AAA, right, turd? 4 innings pitched, 3 earned runs, 6 hits, no walks, 2 strikeouts, 3 swings and misses, 67 pitches, 49 strikes, and he did hit 92 miles an hour with this fastball. He was expected to throw 4 innings yesterday, and they say that he could be cleared to return from the 60-day injured list and rejoin the Dodgers rotation next week, which would be a very pleasing thing for guys like pesky Captain Danny. Yes, Laura says, leave him there. She read that a scout said they think P is pressing. We love your input, Laura. Thank you very much. 92 miles an hour. It's the perfect, right? I think it's the perfect. Some people would call that slow tossing. I would say that's the perfect. All right? Chris of Cambridge, Wilson is going to be the next star. Oh, of course he is. Based on what? Boston Paul, based on what? How about Dirty Eck has come to see us, and he is also a fellow Mets fan, so good to see you, Michael Eckelstein. Great to see you. It was a rough outing for Kershaw yesterday, but it doesn't matter because all it was there for was to get him ready to come back and join the rotations, and the Dodgers need him bad. They have like 8 pitchers on the injured list, and not just the normal injured list, but like half of them are on the 60-day injured list without hopes of returning anytime soon. So, yes, I like it. Now, Boston Paul bases his assumptions and his guesses on what he sees based on lineage. So, I guess we should expect to see Biggio. Cavan Biggio is the first one that comes to mind. How good is his lineage? How about Vlad Jr.? How good is his lineage proven to be? Bichette, he's okay. There's a lot of great... I definitely agree that baseball is in the blood. So if that's what we're talking about, I'll agree with you on that. That, baseball can be in the blood. Just to bring up 2 baseball in the blood situations, that Big Poppy's kid and Manny's... Is it Manny? Yeah, I think it's Manny's kid. Both drafted. Big Poppy and Manny's kids, both drafted. We'll see how good they are. But yes, I do believe that the baseball can run in the blood, for sure. All right. Now, Pablo Lopez, King Hap. I thought of you as soon as I saw this, okay? Because the first thing I look at is Pablo Lopez on pace for 205 innings. We know we had a lot of go back and forth about this bet, and I think it was a fun bet to make. Definitely a fun bet to make. I guess you would call this a prop bet, where you say whether or not a pitcher is going to throw a certain amount of innings, and the over-under for Pablo Lopez was 204, I believe, or something right around there. Maybe it was 200. It was around 200, and I said you can't count this guy out just because he's only done it once. I do think he's going to come back and do it again. It's easy to bet under on 200 innings. You hardly ever see it anymore. And every single year, it feels like the chances of a pitcher going 200 innings get smaller and smaller. I absolutely chose the over on that, and King Hap chose to go under. Now, Pablo Lopez is not having a good season, but that doesn't mean he's not pitching a lot of innings. Pablo Lopez was one of the best pitchers in baseball in 2023. He had a 3.66 ERA and a 3.33 FIP. That was 194 innings pitched, and he garners an all-star spot and an AL Cy Young vote. Now, this year he's been pretty disappointing with a 5.11 ERA in 104 innings pitched. Now, let me see. Where does that put me? Is King Hap here? Listen, King Hap. He's going over on the innings. I might be right on this one. King Hap must have went and did some lifting or something while he's in the middle. Anyway, here's the thing. Pablo Lopez, 27.9% strikeout rate and 5.3% walk rate, ranked second and first in his career, respectively. So he's still striking out. I mean, that's a good strikeout rate. 27.9% strikeout rate is an excellent, okay? So he does have a 5.11 ERA, but his fielding independent percentage is .383, and that's even still his worst since 2020. But there you go. Great to see you, Dirty Eck. He says the problem with people saying and calling these youngsters the next best star is that people say that about every young player now. And it's so true. And that's why I say, if you're going to go out there and talk about how this guy's going to be the next best star, you got to give me something. Tell me why. Does he steal bases? Does he run fast? Is he tall? Is he buff? Is he like the star of his team? Did he do great in college? Like what makes this kid so good? A lot of times you hear that this guy is going to be the next best star, and of course it's easy to say since his name is Wilson that he's going to be the next best star because his dad was a star. Anyways, SM King Tur says the next star happens quick. Just watching all-star games from recent year is a jarring reminder of how quickly it turns over. Yes, Tur, do you feel like you've learned a little bit of a lesson about rookies this year? Tur is one of the biggest rookie prospect guys that you'll meet, but he's also one of the smartest guys you'll meet. And Boston Paul, I know you're smart too. I know I dog on you a lot, but I will give you some love and say I do think you're smart. But going back to Turd, he has always been a big fan of the rookies, and you know me, I'm on board with a rookie is a rookie is a rookie. I do not draft rookies. I do, especially since they always go overpriced for what they're worth. You just never know with the rookie. Yes, the skills are there. Yes, they're exciting. But I did get Wyatt Langford this year. And I just decided to, what the hell, if I, it's a dynasty league, and I happened to get the second pick, and I really got lucky with Wyatt Langford. So how are you not going to draft Wyatt Langford at that point? And of course I'm going to root for Wyatt Langford. I like him still. I think he's doing great for his first year. He's not flashy. He's not fantasy dominant. But he's shown great plate discipline and great on-base skills for his age. And I am all aboard the Wyatt Langford bandwagon. Now, I was just, the whole reason that I went onto this rant is because I wonder if Turd has, just taken a little bit of a second look. Because I have to say, we all know that the majority of the rookie class this year has been just an utter disappointment. There's been a couple good ones. I mean, some that we weren't even really all that hyped up on, but the ones that we were hyped up on have not come through whatsoever. Tommy Johnson says some rookies are tough picks, especially if they cost a lot. Dirty Egg does think that Wilson's bat-to-ball skill is off the charts so far, though. He just doesn't swing and miss. He's not Ellie De La Cruz. Right, the guy who does swing and miss. And Turd says the draft inflation guys are the ones to avoid at the end of the draft season, but those guys do pay. All right, there we go. Boston Paul, you're so wrong. You're so wrong. Okay, calling me a Bill James advanced stats crap follower. I mean, and then you say I don't pay attention to how they swing and how they prepare. Okay. Look, I've already told you this over and over and over, and I'm going to keep telling it to you again. Nobody is going to find your words credible unless you have a reason. You can't just say, oh, his lineage. He's going to be the next best star because I just see that. That gives you zero credibility. If you want people to respect your line of thinking and listen to you serious way, you need to say why you think he's good. Just like, there you go, Dirty Egg. It was simple. He's got bat-to-ball skill is off the charts. He doesn't swing and miss. It's so simple to just say one tidbit about why you like a player. Because as I mentioned before, you could be Bill James, Lenny Melnick, you could be Roto Lady, or any damn other person. But if you don't have any good, valid logic behind your thinking, then nobody will take you serious. So that's my thing with Boston Paul. And now I'm not going to pick on Boston Paul anymore because he's had his fill for the day. 26 of 60 runs, all right, that Pablo Lopez has surrendered this season comes from his 18 home runs allowed, and that's the problem with Pablo right now. He's allowing way too many home runs, right? So I still think he's going to throw 200 innings. Ceddanne Rafaela, why is there so much hate towards this kid? Is he going to win Rookie of the Year? No. Wyatt Langford probably will. But he has been good. Ceddanne Rafaela, among qualified American League rookies, he's second in homers, first in runs, first in RBIs, second in stolen bases, 10th in batting average, and from May 1st on, Ceddanne Rafaela is batting .273, which would rank third. And he has some flaws, we all know, but he's a youngster. Ceddanne Rafaela is getting the short end of the stick. Okay? That's that. He's getting the short end of the stick. Okay? Big Al on the prowl. Good morning to you, my friend. Okay. All right. Chris from Cambridge. All right. Good job. Good. SM King Turd says he took Corbin Carroll at pick 32 last year in a Roto League, and it paid off. And that's very true. It sure did, but it didn't pay off for you this year, did it? These youngsters, you just never know. And, I mean, goodness gracious, Corbin Carroll is such an example of... What is he even an example of? It could happen to anybody. But, it's hard to know. When a guy comes out and he has such an excellent first season, there is a chance that he comes back the next year and he just...
sophomore slump.
A sophomore slump is what they call it, whether that's real or not. A lot of these guys do so good their first year that they don't feel like they need to work on anything,
And yet the pitchers work on how to pitch them differently.
But the pitchers, you could believe, are working on how to pitch the hitters differently, especially on guys like Corbin Carroll. They are searching the tapes, trying to find little holes in the swing, and that's exactly what they obviously did about Corbin Carroll. They spent the whole season off, trying to figure out how to get Corbin Carroll out. Is Boston Paul still here? I hope he is. Okay, there he is. Boston Paul, love you. Thanks for coming back. Okay. Juan Yepes, since his call-up on July 5th, 11 games, and by the way, that includes the 11-game hit streak, a .390 batting average, 1 home run, 6 RBIs, 8 runs scored, and 1 stolen base. He has hit safely in all 10 of his major league games this season, and this was his third straight multi-hit game. He shows modest power with 6 doubles, but he hasn't hit a home run yet. 6 runs scored, though, over 43 plate appearances, and his steal on Sunday was the first of his major league career. Now, he is guaranteed to get spots in the lineup every day, at least until Joey Gallo returns from the injured list, but he's likely to maintain a firm grip on a starting job at first base, even when Joey Gallo comes back, because Joey Gallo, it's either out of the park or it's strikeout. Batting .164, and he's really not scheduled to even come back until the end of July 29th. And this guy, Yepes, if he continues to hit this good, they'll find a spot for him in the lineup, right? They'll find a spot. Jeff McNeil, 2 home runs. Now his stats on the season, 7 home runs, 5 stolen bases, but he's batting .223. He does sit against lefties, so just watch out for that. But what do we think of Jeff McNeil? He's helping him out, right? And yes, Dirty Eck, you knew I'd like that one. The Mets should bring in Trevor Bauer, because how can we not talk about Bauer on a Saturday fantasy baseball show? Yes, I think any team should sign him. I don't know what they're doing. Yes, I do. They pretty much said he's not allowed. Anyway, the Blue Jays are expected to consider trade offers for their players under contract beyond 2024, not just those on expiring contracts. A strong contingent of scouts will be in Toronto tonight, because you will see Chris Bassett against Jack Flaherty, and there will be scouts there watching. Also, Jackson Holliday is hot coming off the break. The MLB's number 1 prospect hit 2 homers yesterday, and he's collected a hit in 9 of 11 games this month for AAA. He's been coming back to health from an elbow injury. He will begin playing partial games at second base for AAA Norfolk as part of his rehab progression. He has so far played exclusively designated hitter since being reinstated from the 7-day injured list June 25th when he had right elbow inflammation earlier that month. So this is a good sign that he's nearly 100% healthy. And the Orioles, he has an 898 OPS at Norfolk through 312 plate appearances. So we can expect him to be on his way, right? On his way back. Oh, hey, Mitchell Yepes hit a 3-run homer last night. Thank you for the update. That's excellent. So we talked about him and the fact that he does have some power. He has hit several doubles, and he did have 3 extra base hit games. All right, he's hitting extra bases. All right, that's how I wanted to say it. Anyway, Mitchell says he hit a home run last night, so that's great. I agree, Tommy Johnson. Yes, sir, I do. Now, the White Sox, did anybody wake up the Hulkster, Daniel? The White Sox have called up their number 23 prospect, Brooks Baldwin, for his Major League debut. He's a versatile 23-year-old. He batted 8th and played second base yesterday. He's a switch hitter. He earned the promotion because he batted .324 with a .391 on-base percentage, 8 home runs, and 17 steals between AA and AAA this season. So he should see regular playing time for the White Sox, perhaps in a super utility role rather than as an everyday option at second base. I know he plays shortstop as well as second base, so he probably plays a lot of infield positions. Keep an eye on this guy. And yes, I know he's on a crappy team, but you know what it means for that? He just gets more opportunity to play every day because he's on such a crappy team. And this is the time of the season that you do see this. These teams that are competing for playoff spots, they play their youngsters differently. The teams that are out of the race and they know they can't get in the playoffs, they're promoting their youngsters and they're going to give them an opportunity to get their toes wet, right? It's going to matter going into the end of the season now. Trey Turner has a batting average on balls in play of 400. What do you guys think of that? Now, what I would do is I would take a look at Trey Turner's career batting average on balls in play because, first of all, this is the type of player that I don't think is really important to pay attention to this. We know what he does, and he's doing it just like he always does it. And I would be willing to bet that his batting average on balls in play throughout his career has been on the high side anyway. But that is pretty high. So, Ellie De La Cruz, speaking of guys who swing at everything, he has struck out 232 times since the All-Star break in 2023, and I will say that is a lot of strikeouts. The most regular season home runs since the 2023 All-Star game is Aaron Judge with 52, Marcell Ozuna 49, Kyle Schwarber 44, Gunnar Henderson 43, Juan Soto 43, Ohtani 41, Pete Alonso, Bryce Harper, Cal Raleigh, and Corey Seager all 39 since last year's All-Star break. I'm glad you're listening from the pool. It was 206 innings pitched on Pablo Lopez. Oh, 206 for Ks. How many Ks? So is he on pace to do it? I guess I did get confused on the strikeouts. It was not the innings pitched, it was the strikeouts. So the prop bet was 206 strikeouts for Pablo Lopez. I said over. King Hap bet with his money and put his money where his mouth is, under. Hulkster! Hey! We've been talking about you all morning, Daniel the Hulkster Ferrara. I don't know if I even have any more White Sox tidbits for you, but don't worry, they're not going to make you feel great. Oh, we did talk about a youngster that just got called up for the White Sox, okay? This guy, the White Sox number 23 prospect, Brooks Baldwin, 23 years old infielder, plays shortstop and second base, switch hitter. What do you think of this kid? Have you been looking at him, Daniel Ferrara? Welcome aboard to the Hulkamaniac. Okay. Ellie De La Cruz has more stolen bases than 6 major league teams this season. And that is one of the best tidbits that I could possibly come up with. We love it. We love it. Dirty Eck, thanks for joining us. That's a good tidbit, right, Turd? Ellie De La Cruz, more stolen bases than 6 major league ball clubs this season. J.J. Bleday went 2 for 5 with a 2-run home run and a double yesterday when they beat the Angels 13-3. Bleday has 5 extra base hits over his last 2 games, but he hadn't homered since June 22nd before yesterday. He also recently endured a stretch of 20 games without a multi-hit effort, and that's taken some of the shine off of the decent season for this J.J. Bleday, who is batting .232 with a .314 on-base percentage, 12 home runs, 34 RBIs, 42 runs scored, 25 doubles, and 4 triples over 97 games. He's yet to successfully steal a base this year. Did somebody go wake you up, Daniel, or did you come on your own?
Kenny Flanagan.
Kenny Flanagan is here. Do you want to do some box scores, Leonard?
Oh.
Lenny was going to do some box scores today because he said we were short on nuggets. But nobody can stretch out the nuggets like me, okay? Nobody, right, Leonard? Data Premier wants to know if Cooper Criswell is a good pickup in a deep league. Well, let's take a look at Cooper Criswell. It's like a tongue twister saying his name. Let's just take a look at what is he going to get. This is what I look at. Is he going to get playing time? That's the number one thing we're going to look at. Okay, and since it is a deep league, he's not a youngster. He's 27 years old. He's a pitcher. So the question is he going to get innings pitched, not playing time, right? So let's go ahead. He's got a 4.50 ERA. He did get a quality start on last Friday against the Royals, but 5 runs is still a quality start, and that is no good for fantasy, especially when you walk 2 and you give up 8 hits. He only struck out 1. Let's look at his formula, which is the formula that we use, that we learned from Malpal, which is to add ground balls plus strikeout percentage, and he is a very good ground ball pitcher. His ground ball rate is 49.2, and his strikeout percentage is 20. So he's right there, and I'm not going to call him a breakout, but I am going to say that he does get enough ground balls and strikes out a decent amount of batters to make it worth your while. I guess this would probably be the type of thing that you would do for matchup purposes, but if it is a deep league, it does look like Cooper Criswell is in the Red Sox rotation. He has a spot as the number 5 starter right now, and it's not like they have a lot of extra pitchers going around. There are only 2 other potential guys that are on the injured list, are both on the 60-day injured list, so it doesn't look like the Red Sox have any other options besides him, and I would probably pick him up if it's a deep league. It sounds like it is. You pick him up and you check out his matchups, and I will say that let's take a look at his home and away splits. They're both about the same. They're both the same. When he pitches at home, his ERA, he pitches better at home. 4.11 ERA at home and a 5.09 on the road. Also, his batting average against lefties is .241, and his batting average against righties is .290, or opposing batting average, if you will. How many innings does he pitch? He typically goes about 4 innings, or this last one, he was able to go 6 innings, and in the last 5 outings, he's gone at least 5 innings twice out of 5 times, so you got that going on. Now, it does seem like he's getting a little better, but I did point out to you that he's not a rookie, he's not a youngster, and I wouldn't use the word breakout with this kid, but in a deep league, you could pitch him in the matchups. What do you think, Boston Paul? He is one of your guys, so I expect something, okay? You got to tell me what you think of Criswell, and that's it. I'm done for the day. Captain Danny and Penny, thank you for joining us today. And Turd, we love you. And Boston Paul, You're always so fun to mess around with. Data Premier, Chris from Cambridge. 25 people now. Dirty Eck. We love the tidbit that Ellie De La Cruz has stolen more bases than several MLB teams. Big L on the prowl. Great to see you. Chris from Cambridge. Chris and Debbie Gallo. Chris JP, that's a.k.a. Zelmo's brother, is here. Daniel the Hulkster. Dirty Eck. Kitty Flamia. Data Premier. Leonard Donaldson. Laura. Malpal, Tina, who else? Who's calling? Mitchell's here. I can't see anything below Lenny, so I'm relying on... Who else is here, Leonard? Please, that's just spam.
Yeah, Mitchell Hartson.
Mitchell Hartson, thanks for joining us today.
Rotorius SM King Turd.
Rotorius SM King Turd. And Stardog, thanks to all our friends. We love having you aboard. We'll see you tomorrow, Lady and the Legend, and enjoy your beautiful Saturday. Watch some baseball and Tommy Johnson triple play and White Sox Al
Boston Paul.
and Boston Paul. Have a great day.